In Hong Kong, before a structural engineer can sign off on a public suspension bridge, they must pass years of rigorous examinations and meet the strict legal requirements of the engineer's registration ordinance. Compare that to the developer writing the artificial intelligence software that diagnoses your medical x-rays. That individual requires absolutely no professional license. Right now, there are 0 statutes in Hong Kong requiring individual AI engineers to be registered or legally certified to write the code that runs public safety systems. We demand complete professional accountability for the people who build our physical infrastructure, yet we have left the architects of our digital infrastructure entirely unregulated. This is the environment where public interest AI is already live. Across this skyline, algorithms are currently managing medical systems, monitoring critical infrastructure, and sorting election-adjacent data. When one of those systems fails under our current corporate liability model, the deploying corporation simply pays a financial fine. The individual engineer who actually built the flawed system faces no professional disciplinary board. Silicon Valley built a massive industry on the philosophy of move fast and break things. Applying that same trial and error mentality to civic systems that handle life or death decisions carries severe risks. For massive tech firms, a corporate fine is often just a calculated cost of doing business. True public protection requires holding the human architects behind the AI personally and professionally accountable for the code they deploy. To close this, the framework builds a foundation split into 2 halves: a code of practice dictating how ethical AI is built, and a registration procedure defining who is qualified. The code introduces a mandatory 72-hour window to immediately report critical AI incidents. To manage varying danger levels, the framework uses a 4-tier pyramid, scaling oversight to prevent unnecessary bureaucracy. At the base, a Tier 4 internal productivity tool requires minimal documentation and sign-off from an entry-level graduate AI systems engineer. By categorizing these algorithms based on potential harm, the framework skips red tape for basic tech, while reserving its strictest protocols for systems that directly affect the public. The stakes rise significantly at the top of the pyramid. Tier 1 critical safety systems manage hospital diagnostics and power grid loads, where errors translate directly to physical harm. Deploying a Tier 1 system demands sign-off from a senior or chartered engineer, the highest recognized grade, requiring at least 8 years of specialized experience. To reach that grade, candidates must pass rigorous assessments across 4 distinct competency domains. They must prove deep mastery of machine learning theory, demonstrate rigorous data governance to prevent bias, and design fail-safe human oversight controls for their algorithms. Under this model, developers can no longer guess their way through critical infrastructure projects or rely on automated safety checks alone. Tier 1 registration acts as a mandatory human firewall between experimental algorithms and public safety. Hong Kong is not building these rules in isolation. Global frameworks like the EU AI Act and the NIST standards in the United States are already enforcing practitioner-level obligations, setting a ticking clock for local engineers to get up to speed. Transforming a software discipline into a legally recognized profession takes time. To manage this, Hong Kong utilizes a specific 4-stage roadmap. The first steps launch a voluntary registration committee for initial standards. Once proven, the framework seeks endorsement from regulators like the Digital Policy Office. The final, aspirational stage takes place here in the legislative chamber. This is statutory recognition, the moment engineering licensing becomes formalized into binding government law. Structuring this multi-year, phased approach gives the tech industry a necessary runway to adapt. It allows a disruptive software trade to evolve gradually into a formalized, globally recognized profession. Returning to the structural engineer we met at the beginning, the days of the unaccountable coder are quickly coming to an end. As artificial intelligence integrates directly into our financial hubs, public transportation, and emergency rooms, the human engineering practices behind it must mature to meet those monumental stakes. Soon, writing the code that runs our society will require the exact same professional rigor, ethical oversight, and legal liability as pouring the concrete we drive on.